Hello and welcome to yet another edition of Bits to Billions, the unicorn story. The company we are tracking this week is one of India's newest unicorns, and it has ambitions to be the Amazon Prime for many D2C brands in India, small brands that really don't have the wherewithal to set up their own delivery and shipping channels. Saahil, thank you very much. He, of course, is the co-founder and CEO of Shiprocket. That's the unicorn we're talking about. Shiprocket's had a really interesting arc, right? Technically, if I look at it, you started up in 2012 as Bigfoot Retail. You went through Cartrocket and Craftly, and then it finally became Shiprocket in 2016. So take us through this journey of pivots. You know, how did you finally kind of find the sweet spot, so to speak?
Well, thank you, and great to meet you today. Thanks for having me today. I think when we launched the company back in the day, for us the macro thesis always was that brands will need to find a way to sell directly to their buyers. You know, I had worked at Walmart for a bit in the US, and just in my gut I could see that offline retail was not going to become like the US. There was not going to be huge big box retail happening, and it's not happened. So why should online mimic the US in every fashion? And there will always be that sort of direct channel where people will want to connect with their buyers, you know, tell their story, and kind of provide that experience. You know, we're a very diverse country, lots of kind of Indias exist in one India, lots of developments happening. So I think with that macro kind of view, we felt that India needed the toolkit for SMBs to be able to sell directly. The first product we tried was a shopping cart product, very heavily inspired from Shopify, which we know today is like a global leader. We tried to kind of build the shopping cart, tried to do a lot of those things early on, and then over a few years realized that, you know, a lot of the Indian market was actually on mobiles. You know, this is a time when Jio was about sort of happening, Flipkart and Amazon were also happening. And then there was this general awareness in consumers as well as in the merchants about being able to go online and make a business. That's how Craftly came about, where we took this entire website building experience to a mobile app. And as Craftly scaled, you know, we quickly realized that we needed the shipping infrastructure, the payments infrastructure, along with kind of doing the overall platform. And you know, we were still early in our fundraising journey. We were a pretty low cash company. So for us, the only way to solve shipping was to actually not go and build it, which is what the likes of Amazon and Flipkart did. Instead, the next best option would have been to go to every sort of carrier and logistics partner that was out there and try and tame them to our requirements, and then build a very heavy data and tech workflow to get this together. So as we built that and we saw great results, you know, probably the best logistics tech platform built into the Craftly platform, a lot of our merchants started telling us that, look, we love this part. We're not so hot on some of the other parts.
So you decided to unbundle that part.
And merchants started actually telling us that we want to use this only because I've got other orders that I'm not, you know, piping through your platform, but I want to use the shipping. So is there a way you can give it to us? And then initially we resisted it because, you know, you want to build the whole platform and make it work. But then somewhere towards the end of 16, we started to kind of think about unbundling it. 17, we launched the platform separately. And 18, we shut everything else off because we realized that, you know, it was a fundamental missing block in the chain of e-commerce, you know, and that realization takes some time to do. And it's I would say if we had not done the other things, we would not be doing this, right? So I actually don't think of it too much as pivots, but more as just evolving one model to another.
But Saahil, let me come back to the fact that I mentioned you're one of India's newest unicorns. What was it like, trying to raise a round in the current environment? And it was mostly an internal round. So
Yes.
was it also hard to get a big new external investor, the valuation that you wanted, compared to the previous round? Or were you happy to kind of compromise on that,
I'll be honest,
considering the environment we are in?
Yeah. So we didn't go out to raise at all. To be honest, we've not spoken to even one external investor. This is more of our internals wanting to double down because they see the value. We've done a bunch of acquisitions. They're performing beautifully. We know there's a lot of synergy that's going to get unlocked in the next 12 months. So it was mostly our internals wanting to, put checks to say, look, we believe this is going to create a lot of value and we want to come in with a larger exposure. That's it. So we actually didn't even fundraise. So a lot of those questions I don't have answers to because we've not gone and validated any of this in the market yet.
But why did you decide to, be an aggregator, like a logistics aggregator, instead of building it yourself? For example, like what a delivery does or an e-com express does or an express piece does. You're dependent on them for your first mile, middle mile and last mile delivery. So why did you kind of take that approach?
See, I think everybody is dependent on somebody in an ecosystem. This is the value chain of how it works. So that's not the lens we apply when we think about this. As far as why we believe this is the right way to do it, a couple of reasons. One is that our objective and mission is very different. Our mission is to bring this experience that consumers are getting used to on a place like Amazon or Flipkart, and then kind of have it available, unbundled, at large, all the way from the buy button till the refund, like I said, right? Which is not just about logistics. There's a very heavy technology layer. There's a very heavy intelligence and data layer. And there is a lot of supply chain.
So like a tech platform for logistics?
Yes, it's a tech platform centered around logistics and a bunch of other use cases that move around that. So first of all, that's what we set out to build. We believe in the power of the ecosystem to the nth level, right? Because we believe that there are folks who can do certain things really well. So if there are carriers who are good at getting further and faster, there are warehouse partners who understand capacity, capex, manpower. There are fintech guys who understand lending, underwriting. There are packaging guys who understand manufacturing of the packaging, and so on. And then there are technology guys like us who understand how to build the tech, how to build interfaces, how to get merchants to use those interfaces and create value. So I think for us, it's very clear about being very clear about our role in the ecosystem, and we will not deviate from that role for any reason. We believe that building a merchant-centric platform is a very different mission from building a logistics company. It's a different way of running a business. So I think it's a fundamental apples to oranges comparison or a different DNA altogether.
Got it.
So I think that's the way. I mean, if you look at us 5 years forward, this will not even be a question because you will see so many other aspects of what we are solving for the merchant. As consumers, you will be interacting with Shiprocket at various touch points. You'll be buying a lot more off the large marketplaces and so on. And that's kind of the stargazing or the future that we are aspiring to see and live in.
Got it. But